Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul Mark. You need to turn my echo off.
No, I don't.
You're always slow with that.
Your dog is not happy with you right now.
Hey, we got a live show because we got someone watching.
Is that like the podcast mascot?
Yes, we need to get
official mascot.
Talking Basketball sticker. Just stick it on her. But Mark, the
welcome
New
back.
York Knicks are the NBA champions for the first time since 1973.
I love it. I think that is fantastic for the sport.
And it
Let me just
ends
say
a 53-year championship drought and delivers New York's first NBA title in over 5 decades.
Look, both teams, it was nice to see because they're both teams that people didn't pick necessarily to be going through. So
yeah,
the fact that they got through there, they were like third and was it second and third in their respective things?
The regular season.
Yeah.
The regular season, they were...
I want to say that New York were third in the playoff.
They were 53 wins, 29 losses. Eastern Conference third, Atlantic Division second.
Yeah, they were second in that division, but they were third overall, weren't they?
Yeah. And they won 16 playoff games, lost 3.
Yeah, and they had above them, I believe it was Detroit. And I want to say...
Boston was second.
Well, yeah, Boston
was second.
Detroit, Boston, Cleveland, and them. They were the top 4, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Mark, where's our background noise?
Well, we can have background noise. Do you want background noise?
People message us and tell us they like that. Where's it gone? There you go.
It never left.
It's been a while, so we'll let you off.
You can let me off. I was just distracted by a dog because that look she gave you is basically, it's the same look. If anyone who has a partner can relate to this, if you make too much noise or you do something that is irritating, they just stop and they just look at you. And it's just a look, and it's the look of whatever you're doing needs to stop now. That's what she did.
I thought that was a look of pride.
No.
That was a look of
she was like,
wow, you're that guy.
Look at her. She was, she was looking going, I was having a lovely nap. And now.
Look, Mark, this is all about the New York Knicks. I don't want you hijacking this about dogs and the Dallas Mavericks. Look, this is all about the Knicks. Huge shout out to them. And their championship, like over 5 decades without it, and it kind of caps arguably one of the most memorable seasons they've had in a long time. In franchise history, potentially, led by Jalen Bronson, Karl Anthony Towns, OJ. I can't say it as well as you.
Not OJ.
OG, sorry, OG. How do you say it?
I say it's Anunoby, but I don't believe that's correct.
I can't say his name.
Yeah.
And obviously Coach Mike Brown.
But OG, it's nice because he's representing UK basketball very much.
That's amazing. I kind of would say I feel there's 2 players representing UK basketball, but we'll come to that in a bit. But look, Mark, let's talk about their journey in the playoffs. You know, taking Atlanta in the first round. Yeah, that was a tough opening series for them.
Do you know what? I think their journey begins 2 seasons before it. Actually, genuinely, because we've got to go back to the team that you said I'm not allowed to mention, but Brunson came to New York from that team.
I was going to ask you, as a Dallas fan, and look, we do owe it to the New York to talk about New York, but just briefly, like, what do you think about,
Dallas played
Brunson leaving Dallas now?
The reality is, when he left, people in Dallas didn't want him to leave. He was a really good player. He was a valued player. They literally messed up. It happens in sports all the time. They just got a bit arrogant and messed up with the contracts and just didn't make him feel welcome or wanted at all. And you go, after then he played in the playoffs, played really well. And as we all know, with anyone who plays well in the playoffs, immediately other teams look at them and go, oh, they would be handy. It's like, that's your time to shine, isn't it? You got your spotlight moment. So he did that and got his bag at New York. And then what did he do? Then he got his teammate from Villeneuve and he brought him across, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo believe they played with them, although I think they're a year older. But they all started playing together. You know, it's like they played all together in college. They sort of built this place where everyone wanted to play, and they were like a really a gritty team, which kind of represents New York in a way. You think of John Starks, in the era in the 90s when he was tussling with all of the greats. Anyone want?
You're talking like the New York versus like Indiana and all that kind
Indiana,
of
Chicago, you name it. He was there, and he would just picking fights and lipping off and that. But it was New York had that like gritty kind of basketball to it, and they sort of harnessed that a little bit. And then Minnesota, they got Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota, and it was like, well, how's he going to play in that? And he's just fitted into that system. And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, they've got a big man who can shoot, post up, do everything. Suddenly they're a team that. And then last season, it was like, oh, they could go further, and they got knocked out. And you go,
But Jalen Bronson's now established himself as one of the NBA's elite clutch players, MVP status.
Yep.
And
for what they call a
you
small
let him go.
100%. For what they call a small guard.
Yeah.
Like 6'1" in brackets. You never really know how tall half these guys are. But he's a small guard.
Yeah, no, I think he is like 6'1", 6'2", isn't he?
Yeah, well, as I say, 6'1" in brackets. He's probably 6'2"-ish, but they call it 6'1".
You have moments
sometimes when you're shorter,
that,
you make 100%. They let him. They regretted the second that he went, and they were like, "Oh, why is he leaving?" And they're like, "Well, because you didn't give him a contract." And they're like, "Oh, whose fault was that?" It's like you. So everyone was annoyed at them, and then obviously they went off and made other mistakes. But it's great seeing him flourish. Yeah. It really is great seeing him flourish. And you go, that's what he could have been. But I don't think, and I genuinely believe, I don't think he'd have been that if he stayed at Dallas. So I think moving was the right thing for him.
Look, and while we're talking about other teams, the amazing story journey that we got to talk about Jeremy Sochan. I know he, on paper, he plays internationally for Poland.
Yep.
And but brought up in the UK, he is a player who has been on the South Coast.
Yep.
He is now an NBA champion.
Yeah. And was that one who people were saying you should wear a T-shirt saying "Ring me up," because where he played with San Antonio,
and
then played with New York, he was getting a ring regardless.
Yeah, you said to me, no matter what happens, he gets a ring. I mean, obviously he's going to want it, whoever's paying his bills at the time. But it's kind of bittersweet for him, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, we've all seen it where people go to. I think Denver had it a little while back, where one of the teammates who won on Denver's successful run, and it was like the season later, and for some reason they hadn't had a matchup with that team because the team wanted to give that guy personally the ring. But their teams, their schedules and stuff just never matched up. So he didn't get to do it until like the 9 months after he won the ring or something. He was like, finally, I've got it. But yeah, if you play any games with a team, you're getting a chip for that.
I think it's a certain number of games, isn't it? Is it 20 games?
It's a certain amount of the season. Like, I want to say more than half. Yeah, more than half.
But I mean, what I love about Jeremy Sochan is, for example, he will... Look, I don't know him personally, but he comes across like he's really down to earth. And, when he's in the off season and you see him in the UK, maybe just training with coaches he's known before, and you think, you're an NBA player and, you're still really grounded, and you're getting words of wisdom, training experience from, people we know. And, I think personally he is such an inspiration to people in the UK, definitely people in the South Coast who have been around him. And he was at the Solent Kestrels on the South Coast for a couple of years, wasn't it? And, he basically says, and the reason I say inspiration, he basically is giving everyone in the UK, everyone on the South Coast permission to say, I can win an NBA championship if I put all the hard work in and have that little bit of luck maybe. But you know what I mean? Someone 20 minutes down the road from where we live has won an NBA championship. Yeah. And when you say it like that, I think it inspires the next generation to say, well, I feel like that's achievable now.
Oh, 100%. And it's getting that. It's almost like the hometown hero, isn't it? It's that perspective where you say, well, they played for the home club. That's one of us, and that's how people look at him from the UK, which is really nice. Obviously, like you say, Polish, plays for the Polish team, but it's lovely seeing that someone, in his journey from going to San Antonio, he played under Pop, so one of the greatest coaches that the NBA's ever seen. He's played under him until obviously Pop had to step aside for health reasons. And the new generation at San Antonio, the way that they're fitting and moving around Wemby and those sorts of things, they're changing the team obviously around him, which makes sense because he's another generational talent. But consequently, I think he got moved out of that system, and that's why they were like, okay, we'll put him to New York because they could use him in that sort of system.
There's a little bit of karma, I think, with this. Where people say things happen for a reason, stuff like that. I mean, let's face it. The start of the season with San Antonio, he was released at the trade deadline, signed with the Knicks, and then helped beat his former team in the NBA Finals, winning his first championship. There's something a bit poetic and karma about that.
100%. And, when people say, well, some people are a bit bitter with stuff like that and say, oh, yeah, well, that player didn't do much, or they didn't do this, or they didn't score much, or that, or whatever it is within playoffs, or to get the team to the playoffs. And you go, well, Kawhi didn't do much with Toronto to get them to a certain point. Then he got traded towards the back end of the season, came in, took them on the playoffs and journey. He didn't grind them all the way to get them there. People never questioned that when Toronto won their thing. And let's not forget that Jeremy was played in the third game. And the third game in...
that was in New York.
The third game...
Was it? Yeah, it was in New York,
was arguably probably one of the best games that we have seen of basketball.
Well, look, talking about UK players, Mark, we've got to talk about OG. Game 3.
Yeah.
That little tip in at the end. I mean, shot from the outside, ball goes up, 0.1 on the clock, tips it in.
Show someone who doesn't watch basketball.
From London.
Show someone who doesn't watch basketball, doesn't understand it, doesn't play it. And they say, explain to me why basketball is exciting. Show them that clip saying, this is the game winner, this is the final moments, this is the clutch. The main guy takes the shot, the guy who is the clutch player, and it bounces off. And one of the other, I'm going to call him a role player, strong role player, comes in and just knows it. I've got to get that ball and try and get it back in there. And he did it, and it won it for him. And if that doesn't inspire people who haven't watched the game, oh, maybe this is quite an exciting thing. I should watch it. There's your poster.
Yeah. Going
to the UK players and saying, remember those fundamentals, follow up a shot, make sure you space. If you're not the one shooting, follow where the ball is, where it's going to land, the Dennis Rodman stuff you talk about. Do all of those things. They're fundamental things. You don't have to worry about trying to do 360 dunks and stuff. Do that wins the game.
Well, what I think is really, really cool about OG is, when people really contribute to, that's a major contribution to your championship there. When
he'll never buy anything again in New York. He'll just walk into a pizza place and they'll be like, on you. Well, absolutely, you can have it.
I just think it's amazing. Not only has he now won a championship ring, but he's actually won his second championship ring because he was playing for Toronto Raptors in 2019.
Yep.
So there's someone from the UK with 2 championship rings.
Yep.
I know what people are going to say, because sometimes we say stuff and we get messages. I know people are going to say, hang on, I think he had emergency appendix operation or something in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so he didn't play all the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he was on the championship roster and he got a ring in Toronto. So, that's we're always behind great British players, UK players, and that's a milestone for our country.
Go back and listen to some of our episodes where we've talked to the likes of Steve and people.
Steve Nelson.
Yes, sir. And Steve Davidson. But when all these guys have gone and they've either come from the States or they've gone to the States, and they were talking about the way in which you have to get into the NBA. We had a former Knicks player who then got drafted out to Westchester because he got on the roster And then they went, oh, actually, we're going to switch it around. Then you're not going to get on the roster.
You're the last one to get dropped from that team. You got to be gutted.
Exactly. Even though he'd gone all the way through, he's in the NBA PA, gone all the way through all that sort of stuff. All of these players, when people say, oh, they're, one of the guys who's on the bench in the NBA, it's like, let's not forget they are one of the only 500 people in the NBA at any one time who was a player, something like that. Like, you're one of 500 people on the planet. You look at a Premiership, or there's a World Cup on at the moment. Look how many professional football players are in the top leagues, respectively. Yeah. This is the top league. You're one of 500. Even if you were like, I am number 500, you're still better than anyone else who's outside of that.
No,
chain.
I know what you mean.
And a lot of people sometimes forget that, I think, and they go, oh, well, they've only got 3 points. You go, you got 3 points and 8 minutes in a final scenario. Credit.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do that.
I know what you mean. And you know what is really highlighted to me when I was in the Orlando Magic training facility.
Yes.
Where they play. They've got like this, I don't know what, let's say a wall of fame. And it's like a small plaque, maybe, how big, like maybe 4 business cards put together. If you kind of picture that, 4 business cards. And it will say their name, whether they have won a championship, I think it said, and the year they played for. No, sorry, it was whether they were an all-star.
Yes.
And the years they played for the Magic. And when you see this wall, you actually look at it and go, it's not that big. I mean, it's a very long wall, but
not many players.
The plaques that have got names on it, you think, oh, wow, okay, cool. It's
like there's 100 people that have passed through.
It's not many.
In
yeah, and
you
visualize it and go, oh, okay. And then you see legends that have been on there or just for like one season
Patrick
or something
Ewing,
like that.
Vince Carter.
Yep. And Mark, I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
We've just said that OG has now become the first English-born player to win multiple NBA championships.
2-time.
And he is only the second British player to earn an NBA title. My question is, do you know who was the first player to win an NBA championship?
I do, and it was Luol Deng, wasn't it? Because he set up all the basketball in Africa. He set up loads of the stuff in Africa and works a lot with, I think, NBA Africa now. And he funded a load of, when it was like, I'm not saying not social media, but you see it where it's like there's no courts, they don't have anywhere to practice, there's nothing out there at all. And he started funding loads of stuff like that to bring it out. So yeah, it was Luol Deng with LA.
Yeah, 2020. Now I will say, again, I know we have passionate listeners, and when we make comments, they go, "Hang on."
Oh yeah,
we're used to these messages.
Yeah, what did I get wrong today?
But he did win an NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020. He had been waived earlier in the season, but he was still entitled to a championship ring.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking about earlier.
So, look, let's get back to the Knicks, Mark. Right, look, first round, that was a tough opening round for New York, but their depth and defense wore Atlanta out.
Yeah, I mean...
Closed it in 6, 4-2.
Look, you got to think.
Historic blowout. NBA playoff record for the biggest halftime lead.
Yeah, that was
game 6.
That was a punch. That was them saying, just letting everyone know, by the way, yeah, we can step on it if we have to. Because again, they're going into these playoffs third in the league. Detroit absolutely were, with Kay Cunningham, they were storming away this season. Absolutely, they've been showing some real talent. You think Detroit's been struggling.
They've struggled in the playoffs.
Yeah, but and that's the thing in the playoffs. When it came to it, they absolutely just fell to pieces.
You can say the same thing about Boston as well.
So it's really interesting. We've had it a few times where you see people. Milwaukee was probably the most famous one, where they were 60 games or something they won that season. They absolutely stormed through, and then they got knocked out first round. And Giannis, people were saying, well, he failed, and he's like, it's not a failure. And he gave very, very, reserved, well spoken speech about it's not a failure just because we got knocked out. We got to the playoffs. but they were so far head and shoulders above everyone else.
I liked it when he said to the journalist, asked the question, he said, if you don't get a pay rise every year, are you a failure that year in your job?
Yeah. If your article doesn't win a Pulitzer Prize every year and all that. And, you know, he was right. You could tell he was salty as hell. Like he was steaming. But yeah, you know. But look, the Knicks have done so well just getting past that team like Atlanta, because Atlanta are one of those teams that they could have actually dislodged them, I think. Not because they're better than the Knicks, but because it's like a bogey team.
Yeah.
Just got into their skin.
Well, that biggest halftime lead, I'm trying to think.
Was it 4-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, finished 4-2. I think was the previous one Chicago versus Utah. Or am I wrong? Does it go back that far? I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so the next Eastern Conference semi-finals, Mark, they had the Philadelphia 76ers. I actually spoke to a former Philadelphia 76er the other day.
Did you?
Alan Cunningham. Absolute legend.
Listen.
Absolute legend.
Philly,
but yeah.
Philly were never in it.
Complete domination.
Yeah, they were never in it.
Brunson controlled the series. All the Dallas fans are going, oh my word, why did we let him go? And New York overwhelmed Philadelphia on both ends of the floor. 100%. Huge margin victories. Done.
Yeah. That's what I mean with the Atlanta thing. It was weird because you watch them do Atlanta and you go, oh, you're kind of struggling here a bit. Are you going to have an issue? And the next one, it was like, oh yeah, you just dominated them. And you'd think it'd be the other way around, but Philly, they've fallen off a cliff, haven't they? So,
well, look, they progressed to the Eastern Conference Finals where they got Cleveland.
Look,
perhaps their biggest statement of the playoffs. Swept one of the East's top teams, Mark.
I was a little surprised at that one. I actually thought they would give more of a punch back on that, but I don't know how you get a sweep.
Well, their playoff winning streak then grew to double digits, proving they were genuine title favourites.
Do you know what? When we've talked about the other...
And also, they've only lost 2 games. They lost 2 games to Atlanta. And you're now in the finals.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Who did they lose to? They lost to Atlanta. And yet they beat Philly and Cleveland. Other than that, they didn't lose. But when you know, some everyone does it with the bubble, with 2020. Everyone does it with that. But there's often things where there's a star on the play. If I remember rightly, I think the Spurs had a star on the play because there was lockout.
What do you mean on the playoffs?
On the playoffs and winning.
I think the stars I can remember. You got obviously the Orlando Magic bubble,
which is the LA one.
The Disney bubble, whatever they call it.
Bubble, yeah. And the other one was the
lockout.
There
was a strike. Yeah,
the lockout. So then the league didn't start till December.
But you're right. That's one of the Spurs ones.
And that's one of the Spurs ones that had a flag on it. But everyone
was only like 20 odd games, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, they would have won.
It was like
they were, but people there was still an asterisk on it because they're like, this was lockout season, so it didn't start. It started like a month and a bit later than it should have, or whatever. But still, it does have a star.
Mark, you've brought the Spurs up. I think we should do another show
that was
with
the
a
best.
star about Spurs taking on Thunder, because that brought up so many questions with officiating, I think. And lots of people were talking about it.
The Spurs losing in the final is the greatest gift. The greatest gift they could have given Wemby.
Oh, right. He was like doing SAS training like around the playoffs.
So I read a thing where someone said, what has Wemby been doing differently? And go to listen to Kevin Garnett on his podcast.
No. Don't go to any other podcast, Mark.
No, once you've finished here, go listen to them.
What, all the episodes?
Kev.
All the episodes, then go listen to it.
Kev, if you're watching, I've sending people your way. You're welcome. But honestly, they said, well, where did you get it from? And they said, oh, he's been training with Kevin Garnett.
Oh.
And they're like, well, what's he been training? And it's basically, he, obviously Garnett explains it better because it's what happened to him. But people were basically saying, Wemby's got to get a fire in him. And you go, who's the most fired up player that's, still current, relevant, accessible and stuff? And it's Garnett, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at Garnett when Vince Carter dunked over the dude in the Olympics. He was more excited for Vince than Vince was. And Vince did the damn dunk. He is the most, and people would, I think he did one when he was early 20s. and he was playing, and he said, "I'll take everyone on the team," and it was like KG versus everyone. It's like 5-on-1, and he was taking everyone on, and he was like, they were like, he just has infinite energy, and he's so fired up and really. And that's why when people say, "Well, what's happened to Wemby? Why is Wemby suddenly all like angst?" It's like, as soon as you say Kevin Garnett, you go, "Oh, there we go. There's the influence," and that is it. That's where he was training with him. So now he's tasted. He's got all the way through, and they had a tough run. San Antonio had a tough run to get to the finals, got through to it, and then they lost. And you go, that's going to feel bad. That's going to be a bad taste. Especially as the way it sort of transpired, 2 games away, 2 games at home, and you're coming up 2 apiece. And at one point, it was like, is San Antonio going to walk away with this?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Spurs, Portland Trail Blazers, 4-1 first round.
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals, Minnesota Timberwolves 4-2.
That's the one that I thought was
a tough
lose.
one.
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals against OKC 4-3. That was tough. I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean. They've gone through
got a 6-game and a 7-game. And you know what? I do consider the question where people talk about is it better to have a 7-game in the Eastern or Western Conference Finals going into a final being at that moment, like, you've gone for a game 7, or is it better sweeping someone 4-0? Okay, I've got a week off, I can prepare for it.
I think that is purely...
It's tough, isn't it?
I think that's person to person, because some people want the Band-Aid ripped off. Some people want it like, I'm ready to go. Some people could have said, right, the next game is tomorrow, let's go. And they'd be like, I'm in. And they would be ready for it. Other people need that week. And I think it just depends on how you are trained for it. I'd imagine they're probably trained. Like, you get a 2-3 day grace.
You touched on a really famous quote here, which is... Sorry, it's not a quote. It's basically... Who was... Showtime Lakers.
Yes.
They're in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for their... I can't remember what year it is, but they're in the Finals waiting for whatever's going on the East. They're there. And Pat Riley walks in and he said...
it has to be from Pat.
And I think it was like maybe a day or 2 before their first game. And Pat Riley just makes them run like hell. They're like, bloody hell, what is going on? And they lose the finals. Magic gets injured. Who else got injured? A load of them got injured. And I was listening to Magic talk about it, and he was basically saying that training session cost us the finals.
Yeah.
But he goes, the reason that moment happened is because we were there waiting, maybe mucking around a bit.
Yeah.
There's a 7 series going on in the other round. We get there, and Pat Riley's like, "You're not ready. Let's go." But it ended up backfiring.
I think that's a tight thing. Look at Phil Jackson and how he managed, or rather dealt with, the fact of having someone as a alternative in their lifestyle, shall we say, as Rodman, and he managed him quite well. He was always there, did his job, never bowed out or anything. But he couldn't rely on him always being there in those trainings and doing the things in that way, because he needed to manage that. So I think it downs to each individual person, but there's definitely a mental thing here. And Wemby is very much, he's a player who plays in his head quite a lot. And you talk about when he's very eloquent and he talks about books that he's reading and trying to understand the pressures of things. So then...
Is he actually reading them, or is he doing a LeBron? Is he doing a LeBron?
No, we're not even going to talk about him. Let's not talk about him. He just needs to retire now. But I think that is the best thing to happen, because Wemby has tasted not just defeat, because they've had a few defeats, and he's like 2023 came in. He's had a couple of seasons under his belt now. He knows what it's about. But he was in the finals. He's tasted, and they won a game in the finals. It wasn't just we won a game in New York in the finals. It's like, hang on. And then they went back home and lost the game. So it was funny just seeing the teams both lose on the road and not be able to claim it in their home turf. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. And look, the Knicks,
because that's got to really mess with your head, doesn't it? If you go away,
that's the only game they did win.
Yeah, but if you go away and you win the away game, you're like, hang on,
we're set.
This is it, because that's all you need to do, isn't it? You've got to win the away games. If you win the away games, your home game should be the thing. But then they travel home and then they get their butt kicked twice, and it's like, oh,
and they're losing 5. And look, I know you'll love to hear this, Mark, but Jalen Bronson delivered legendary final performance. Personally, I liked his 45 points title clinching Game 5.
Nice.
Named Finals MVP.
Deserved.
Knicks finished the postseason with a dominant 16-3 playoff record.
Deserved. I'm really happy with New York winning. I'm really happy that Brunson's been the poster child for that. I'm happy that the team is known as being a team. That's the thing that I really like.
I think he's established himself as one of NBA's elite clutch players. Karl-Anthony Towns,
100%.
Knicks another offensive superstar.
Mm-hmm.
OG, I mean,
Mikal Bridges.
we're going to think of that tipping for a long time.
That is one
Robinson, both of them, elite
best,
defense.
100%.
Mike Brown, he quickly put his stamp on things, didn't he?
Listen,
first season, head coach, boom, NBA championship.
Yeah, but what were the other seasons where he was at previously? He was there, then he got ejected. And they were like, no, we're not having him. Go try somewhere else. No, go to Germany.
Sometimes you just need the stars to align.
Where did Mike Brown play before that? Oh, yeah, that's right. He played with Pop. He played with the Spurs. Where else did Mike Brown play? He played over across, I think, if I remember right, in Golden State. So Mike Brown's been next to all the people that know the game well. And when he was the last head coach and they went, no, you're not doing a good job, and binned him off. And that's when he then came to, and then was like, oh, is he done? And then he went to New York this year. And you go, yeah, he's a really good coach. You just need to let him do his thing and let the team do their thing, which is what he did. Brilliant.
Well, it's
isn't it good for it's good for the NBA?
Well, I think that's now
Adam
8
Silver
or 9 champions, like different champions in the last 8-9 years. I don't think there's anyone who's won multiple championships.
No.
And what I love about that is we've gone back to the 80s where it's hard to win back to back, and that's what you want. So back to back has become special again.
Early 80s, yeah, because you go then you start.
80s, 90s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, like no,
70s, 80s, because as soon as you then go, the last ones to really do it.
We had the 60s, didn't you? And then
so 70s, like you go all the way through to like the Supersonics and finishing in 79, and then you've got LA and Celtics basically in the 8, except
but LA were the only ones who won back to back.
Yes.
Until the Pistons, and then Chicago, and I think, and then LA again. With Kobe and
Shaq, and then it was.
Oh no, sorry. I know we're going to be shot here, Mark, because we said Chicago. We're going to get a message until now. Houston, to Houston's back to back, right in the middle.
They were right in the middle. But then it was 3.
Then you got the Warriors, obviously.
But no, Spurs.
Oh, Spurs, Warriors.
Spurs.
But it's nice, isn't it? We've now got, I think, is it 8 or 9 years where it's a unique champion?
Yeah, you've got,
and that is what I think is great, because that's a hard thing to do, is get back to back now.
It is, and it makes it more who's going to win it. But look at the teams who have won it in the last few seasons, and I won't say this is the echo. It's a perfect way to end on this one, I reckon, is what happens next for the Knicks, because now you're in the off season. They've just had the announcements with all the player trades going on, and they've started going off.
It's health as well. Do they stay healthy?
They're
is Brunson going to maintain MV porn?
MV porn. Wow.
I know that came out.
I mean, I know
MVP.
They make good money, but I mean,
I meant to say MVP level.
Wow.
Form, and it came out MV porn.
Wow. Hello.
Is he going to maintain MVP level form?
You can't come back from that. That's brilliant. Yeah, I think he will. But what happens to those teams now? Because we've seen a lot of teams, they get blown apart. We've seen lots of people who are leaving, a lot of other teams. There are people who are in the last years of contracts, people moving around. What do they do as a team? That Adam Silver, he's going to be sat there rubbing his hands, because New York were the second highest revenue team for the NBA globally. So it's New York. It's a tourist location. People go there for the thing. Now they're the champions. Their value has just increased. So for the NBA, it's a massive. It's the same as like an LA winning. It's a massive, massive thing for them. But what happens next? Just look at Boston. They're struggling. They haven't done well since they've won their chip. Is it going to be the same for the Knicks next year? What say you?
I was trying to find I took a picture of all I saw a picture online, and it was all the champions. I mean, I'm sure we thought about it. We could rattle through it, but I think it's 8. If it's not 8, it's 9.
Yeah, I guess we can, but I think.
You know what? The only thing I was disappointed with with New York,
right,
was their celebrations.
Yeah,
and it's kind of, I think it's a little sad wherever you go, where someone wins an NBA championship. It's like, right, let's wreck the city. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
that's like the little. They painted bins in New York with the New York colours.
Yeah.
With people just emptying the bins so they could take these metal bins home.
Yeah, the lady who did that got fired. I mean, look, I know it was OKC, then Boston before that, Denver before that, and Golden State, and then Milwaukee, and then LA, because that's the bubble. What I'm looking at now is pre-bubble. So we've got Raptors, 2 Golden States, Cleveland.
So to get to those Golden States,
the 2 Golden States
from that one, how many is it? Is it 8 or 9?
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. So the 2 Golden States, the last one was 2018, because then you got 2019 Raptors, 2020.
Oh, so it's 8 years, 8 unique champions. I think that's really good.
No, well, because Golden State won it in 2002 as well. 2022, sorry.
Okay, we'll keep that. That's fine.
So just go from Raptors 2019.
Okay.
So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 8.
Well, look, Mark, it makes next year's NBA season interesting. Can the Knicks perform again, defending NBA champions? Still going to remain among the favourites. Cleveland, Boston, Eastern contenders.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Detroit, top of Eastern Conference. Out west, OKC remains arguably one of the NBA's strongest teams, even though they lost before they got to the finals.
I don't think we'll see OKC competing in the next couple of years. I think they had a moment, and I think they did really well. But I can't get behind SGA as
not a fan.
Not a fan in the slightest.
I'm not a fan of the.
I think he represents everything wrong.
I'm not a fan of the NBA court officials, but Mark, I think that's another episode.
Oh, let's do another episode on that. Yes.
Right. Well, shout out to the new NBA champions, the New York Knicks.
May you enjoy your blue and orange. Terrible colours.
If they have to wait, hang on, if they have to wait another 53 years. Was it 53 years I said?
Yep, it's 53.
Your next championship is going to come in 2079.
Congratulations in advance, because I won't be here for that.
Jeez, I'll be 100. Bloody hell.
I'll be in the ground or floating somewhere.
Oh. I just kicked the dog in the face.
What a way to end the show. Kicking a dog in the face. Lovely. Well, thank you very much for listening. It's lovely to be back with you all. If you haven't gone and listened to the old episodes, go back, check and listen to them. We've got about 200 out there. I've been Mark.
And I've been Paul. And for generations of Knicks fans, this wasn't just another championship. It was one they had wanted for more than half a century to celebrate. The question now is simple. Is this a beginning of a dynasty?